Welcome to the lighter side of RC after dark. Let me know, confirm with me that you can actually hear me. We just want to make sure the microphone and everything's working. I don't even know what, I think this is number 8. I believe this is lighter side of RC after dark number 8. We've got, just trying to think about what's been going on. We got a few things to talk about tonight. We kind of get it, the nuts and Ward's behind the camera. Russell's manning his drink over to your left-hand side over there.
Tasmania, and Jason says loud and clear.
Excellent, thanks guys. So we've got the SU30. If you're watching the videos on the channel, we unboxed the SU30 and that was Wednesday's video. Tomorrow's video is the Carf Rebel, which is up there. That's the final video. Now the Carf Rebel's done, but the final video is tomorrow. And we did do the votes on the Carf Rebel. So in the last video, we asked, should we cal off? And we counted the votes up about 30 minutes ago, and on, keep it on was 67, take it off was 60. So the Rebel decal stays on, unless the owner David wants it off, then he'll take it off. But as of right now, the decal's staying on. So thanks guys for voting in that video, that was good. What have we been doing? We haven't flown in 2 weeks, so since the last live video, haven't flown. Just been working in the shop, getting stuff done, lots of different various things to get done. So yeah, that's basically been it. We unboxed the cool SU30. We've got another awesome project coming up this coming week from BVM. Oh, that's all I'm gonna say. And we've also got this plane here. Now this plane has been living in the rafters up high on our pulley system, but this is a SKYMASTER, one of the big F18s. And my friend actually owns this. I built this for him. I don't remember when, it was quite a few months ago. And Andrew has decided to sell this aircraft. So, howdy. So if you are interested, or if you know anybody that's interested, this F18 is for sale. It's basically bind and fly, not for Spectrum, bind and fly if you fly jetty. So it's all set up on jetty equipment. I've got all the programming done on my radio. I'll give you a brief rundown here for this video, but basically we've got SKYMASTER 190s. Now these are tail-mounted airplanes. Do you want to grab the camera, Katie? So we've got tail-mounted SKYMASTER 190s. Now the important thing with these tail-mounted engines, this is the exact airplane Andrew had before with tail-mounted engines. They actually work out awesome. It's super critical that the engine angle gets pointed right to the CG location, which we've done during the assembly or build process. So some people are concerned with that, but it works out fine. This airplane is actually one of the lightest F-18s I've ever built. I think it came in, from memory, I believe about 55 pounds ready to go. A lot of these airplanes generally are in the 60 to 65 pound range. Really, really nice setup. Super clean on the inside. I think it's got JR 8911s everywhere. It's got an onboard compressor. We've got, I believe, a Jetty Central Box 300 series, I think is what's in there. We've got 2 Rex receivers with the long antennas or remote on-off. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We can't show you underneath the cockpits because they are in place, but that's the hatch area or the engine bay area. Super clean. There's really not a whole lot to see underneath this tray, but the gear obviously is underneath the tray. This airplane does have a couple upgrades to it. There's a big carbon former right here installed on the main landing gear plate. That's not a normal SKYMASTER thing, so that's a bit of an extra little thing we did there. We've got Cortex programming port right here, so there is a Cortex installed. Left GSU, right GSU, and this is the Zykoy air sequencer. We've also got Jetronic valves doing all the sequencing. The canopy open and close. That is all done with a linear actuator system. And so yeah, that's all electronic. So that's the plane. If you are interested, reach out to me and we will, I can put you in touch with Andrew. And yeah, it's a great plane. It's like every other 18 that I've put together. It hasn't been flown yet because once we were done with it, he basically decided to sell it. So, but we took it down today for some pictures to put it online and sent those pictures off to Andrew. So we figured we would talk about it in the live in case there is anybody that is interested. So if you are interested, I don't suspect this will stick around for a long time, but it is ready to go. Come pick it up, bring some money, and it's yours. So simple as that. So that's basically it. Yeah, other than that, we've just pretty much been, what did we finish up? We finished up the Rebel, been working on the Super Bandit. Now the Super Bandit, we've got 2 weeks to get it ready for paint. The deadline is the end of September. It's going to be driven out to our painter on the West Coast. And I won't be painting the aircraft. We kind of made that decision a few weeks ago. And the reason for that is we've got so many other projects to do. So I know some people are not going to be overly happy about that because they miss the behind the scenes stuff. But just for the sake of time, that's why we're doing it. So that's the intro to the live stream. If you guys have any questions while this is going on, this is the time to communicate with us. Katie's behind the camera. She's reading all your comments and questions and she'll relay them to us and we can give you the best answer possible. I am happy that things have calmed down a little bit since the radio test. That was a lot of fun. I was actually thinking about the lighter side of RC. We do have a TikTok channel, I guess if that's what you call it, TikTok page or something. I haven't posted anything on there, but I'm thinking about posting some reactions to the various comments on the video, on the different chat boards and online forums and stuff. I think that'd be kind of funny, but maybe we'll do that, maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, we did get a new bandsaw as well. That's not hooked up yet, but we've got a nice new piece of equipment here. Big, massive bandsaw. This is one of those needed pieces of equipment that we've needed for quite some time and just haven't had. So looking forward to getting this thing going. It's not set up for electrical yet, although everything's leveled and set up and everything for cutting stuff. It has no power right now. So
It's a big band.
It's a big display.
You're not going into cutting meat.
So yeah, so that's it. Any questions popping up, Katie? Nope. Been working on the Super Bandit. This is like a lot of work times 10. It's been pretty crazy. So in this video, in this live, we are like, I'm just looking at the board there. I think we're already covering stuff 2 videos ahead of time. So the next video I think is the elevators, which are right here that we just finished up. And the next video after that is going to be the rudder or the vertical stab. And we're just working on that all day today. So it's amazing how much work these kits are. It's crazy actually. But yeah, the elevators are done and mostly done. There's a few little details and stuff to do. And then we've been working on the rudder all day today since this morning. So that is nearing completion and it's getting there. So that's it. If you guys have any questions while we're working in the shop tonight, let me know and we can work and answer questions all at the same time.
Jason says, I watched some of your videos that you did for people wanting to get into turbines. Any thoughts on continuing that series?
Yes, actually. I can't look up my notes. I keep notes on my phone, which you guys are watching me on. I keep notes on my phone for different video ideas. And I think one of the last ideas that somebody gave me was something like how to, I did an install of a turbine, but like kind of the steps of it. Because for a lot of people, their first turbine is a daunting thing. I remember my first turbine, it was an old RT 2800 SE, and I remember trying to start the thing, wouldn't start, figured out the glow plug, and like when I got that thing started, it was scary, very scary, and it's overwhelming, so I get that part. So I think the last suggestion I had was like how to hook up and start the turbine, I think is kind of what it is. So yes, I'd love to continue those videos. We just need more ideas to make it interesting. So if there's any specific things that you guys want to know, either comment in here and I'll try and remember, or shoot me an email as well. That's actually the best way, and just let me know what you'd like to cover. So that would be great.
Tigers RC, are you using a power box on your Rebel Classic? I just bought mine and have no idea what to get.
No. If you watch the videos, I think we kind of covered it in the last video, but most of it will be in the next video, tomorrow's video. A power box or a box of some sort is, in my opinion, overkill on that style of plane. So, and there's lots of people that don't agree with that, and that's okay. If you want to put a power box or a central hub in your plane, have at her. That's your decision. But on the Rebel, we have a Rex 12 receiver. One battery is powering the entire airplane. So one battery powers the turbine, the control system, and the landing gear. A lot of people don't agree with that, but it works great. The Rebel's set up like that. The Ultimatum behind Katie's set up like that. The Ranger's set up like that. It works awesome. That's one of the things with Jetty, is it works really well in those scenarios. I'm sure other radios will, but I know Jetty specifically does, and it's quite convenient because you can have a 12-channel receiver. If you're using a Cortex gyro, what happens is you actually have 19 channels, or access to more channels, and you can get other channels too very easily. So hopefully that answers your question.
It says the more pieces of kit you can have, the better, and that's a big bandsaw.
Yes. Eventually, a CNC machine, but we'll see. That's in the future. We'll see how far away that is, but something like that, or a machine shop type stuff would be super cool.
David Faltis says, what's the story on the F-16 on the wall?
That guy. It's a good question. So we had a friend, his name was Con, or his name is Con, he's still alive. I shouldn't talk about him in past tense. Last time I heard, Con is still alive. No, he is. Con used to be huge into planes. We flew a lot together, and it's probably been, timelines are a bit weird with COVID, but probably 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, Con got out of flying planes altogether, everything, and that one was crashed. So it doesn't look like it from the top side, although there's a little bit of damage on the hatch. So the very center part of the plane, it's a little bit crumpled on the hatch and right where the little flags are there. But the underside of the plane, the gear plates and everything are all ripped out. So that thing, Con gave it to me, and I kept it around just because I knew one day I would have a shop like this and hang it up on the wall. That's the only reason I kept it. So that's the story with it. It could have probably flown again, but it's better up there as wall art. I think it's like a CNC kit or something, C&J kit or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a Chinese brand kit.
David Wilson said, you did a perfectly fine job with the radio test.
No more!
I think if you
Thank you.
Open it up for further discussion, you should consider titling the show the, I don't know, eccentric side of RC people. Eccentric side of RC people? Just kidding, unless you...
I'm going to mic up Katie so you guys can hear what she's saying as well. Yeah, it's you know, the radio test, guys. It's crazy, and I don't mind talking about it on here because it's funny because all the haters aren't going to come on here and watch this stuff. So, yeah, I've been close. So there's quite a few forums out there. There's RC groups, and there's probably more that people have talked about this on. But there's RC groups that there's a huge long chat about the radio test on. Powerbox forum, there's a huge long chat about it on there. RC Universe, people know I'm on RC Universe because I use my logo. And so there was very little chat about it on RC Universe, although a couple guys chimed in, but I just didn't comment about it. But on RC groups, I was really close to chiming in because the amount of conversation is just nuts. And the one that made me laugh the most and actually think about doing the TikTok posts and stuff is one guy on the Powerbox forum. I forget his name. He's overseas somewhere. I think he's in Germany or Austria. He was actually slandering me because of this. My butcher apron, or whatever you want to call it, my smock. He's like, what does he call me? He calls me a goober or goof or something like that wears the butcher apron. Like, really? Like, what a stupid thing. You're gonna like, that's the steps or the level you're gonna stoop to. And I thought about that. Yeah, I can't think of anything better. I'm like, I'm surprised people haven't been like, oh, it's probably his lack of fingers that made the Powerbox radio not work so good. Like, grow up. Anyways, I shouldn't.
Probably because I was too
I got to be
short.
careful. Yeah, I got to be careful what I say. But anyways, it's been super funny to go through and read that stuff. I've resisted commenting, but I'm on those forums and I read all that stuff. It's hilarious. So.
He said satanic.
Oh, satanic. Yeah.
Okay, let me go back here.
Okay, I need to mix up some more high sol. I'm still listening.
Do you mind saying who your West Coast painter is? That's from William.
Oh, it's Jeremy Ferguson is the guy that's going to be painting the Super Bandit. I'm not sure how open he is to like accepting projects and stuff, but I talked to him about a month ago. We described the project, came up with a timeline, booked the time in, and Jeremy's going to be painting the aircraft. A lot of guys know Jeremy Ferguson. He does amazing airbrush work as well. He does a lot of tanks for motorbikes, motorcycles. So he paints a lot of beautiful tanks with crazy artwork on it. So.
I Love RC says, hi John, would you be interested in building a T1 Models 2.7 meter F22?
Heck yeah, absolutely. Always interested in new projects, especially if they're not already a video on the channel. I mean, I'll build pretty much anything, but if we haven't done them on the channel before, absolutely, that would be super cool.
Echo Smoke says hi.
Hey, Joe.
To us, and Ward, and Katie.
Hey,
Oh, don't forget about Russell.
yeah, it would have been me, man.
You have to put Russell on camera.
Felipe says, they are all jealous of your apron.
Yeah.
I try to get one like it, but I sneeze too much.
And actually, functionally, this thing has saved me a lot, and Ward can attest to that. Like cutting towards yourself and stuff, or trimming things, like that's why it looks the way it does. Because I mean, I've got cut marks down here. Yeah, it's very functional as well too. So, and it's a lot nicer now that it's worn in. When I first got it, it was pretty stiff.
David S says, howdy.
David S.
Glad we're getting more high sol.
Yeah. David ordered another 10 or 12, I think.
It's like a case.
Well, so when we started the Super Bandit, in my mind, I thought that maybe we'd use 3 tubes, and we just cracked, well, I should say we just cracked. So this is tube number 5, and we have about a third, because they come full, they're about here. So we've got about a third left in tube number 5. So Kelly, who's got a lot of experience with these planes, he thinks that we'll probably use 8-ish, which is crazy. But that's what these things take, because you're gluing everything. And we're going over and above on the gluing, so.
Felipe says, hey Jonathan, first time watching you live, other than being live.
You can just call him Phil, Katie.
Okay, well, I'm just reading. I don't know everybody's names here. I got to get used to it. Phil, okay.
Phil, did the crate get picked up, or is it still in your shop?
Jason says, not commenting on the radio test. Hate just proves you're a better person not needing to
Yep.
stoop to other keyboard warriors' level.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And I'll tell you, it's not like I haven't been prepared for that by having a YouTube channel. You know, you can imagine not having fingers growing up, the amount of bullying and stuff you'd receive. So my whole life's been preparing me for that, and it's totally fine.
It's actually comical.
It's
Like,
very comical.
when you're reading some of those comments, it was just like,
Yeah,
people have nothing better to do. They need to get a life.
yeah, it's very funny.
Let's see.
So I'll show you guys what we're doing here in a second. I just got to get this started. So the manual calls for these little tubes to be sticking out. And we're doing it a little bit better because that's the way we do things.
Craig says, hi from Tamworth.
Hey, Craig.
And what is happening with the bull?
Oh, my poor bull. My bull got a Viking funeral about a month ago-ish, maybe a couple months ago. Yeah, we threw it in the fire pit. It was actually kind of cool because I had the fire going, and then I'm like, I should just burn the bull, the fuselage. So I dragged the fuselage out there, threw it on top of the big fire, and it was like black, nasty smoke. I was actually thinking like our neighbors.
We're going to get in trouble.
Oh yeah, I thought we were going to get in trouble. I thought the fire department was going to be called. We're on an acreage, right? So people are fairly far away, but they can still see. It was like black, nasty smoke. And then after a few minutes, the only thing left sitting there was like the carbon fiber in the fuselage. It still had its like perfect shape, but all the epoxy was burning away. So this carbon fiber was just sitting there upright all by itself. It was pretty cool. But so nothing's happening with the bull. It's out of my budget this year to replace it. So I would love to have another bull though, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So.
Echo Smoke and David say hi to Russell. Hi, David. That's from me. William says the apron is the only reason he tunes in.
Exactly. Agreed.
It's because, and Nick says it's because it's brown. Arnold says, don't forget the OSHA approved eye squint eye protectors.
Yeah, OSHA.
OSHA. Stacy says there will always be haters.
Yep.
Phil says still in the shop waiting on props from Germany.
Oh, cool. That's the crate I was telling you about the other day. That's getting shipped.
Okay. Stacy says Nadine says you don't have to justify your apron.
My smock. Men don't wear aprons, we wear smocks. Okay. Let me show you guys what we're doing here. So the manual calls for these little, let's take a step back here. So this is this rudder system on the Super Bandit. It's a pull, which is very unique. So we've got our control rod here, which is a 556 size. So it's a big size. That goes through the actual rudder surface itself. We oversized this just a little bit so we could use high sol and high sol that in place, not just thread it through. It goes through a piece of maple. And you're supposed to have one linkage, two linkages coming back to here for a pull system. So the manual wants you to take these little brass rods and have them sticking out of the rudder. And Ward's got a picture here, so like this. So they want them to be like proud and sticking out. Well, geometry-wise, we're not doing that. So we actually want them to be, well, the way I'm doing them is to be perfectly hidden. So all you'll see when this is done is two tiny little holes. We have to do a lot of filling here, but two tiny little holes that those linkages and stuff are coming out of. So it's just going to be way more invisible, essentially. So that's what we're working on.
David says, kicking it up a notch.
Yep, always.
Another David Milton says, I have seen some RC glider videos with tons of telemetry and camera systems to permit better situational awareness. That's why I asked my camera question. Eyes old like mine. 73 could benefit. Did I read that question?
I might be getting there too.
Well, we all get there at some point.
Yeah, that's where the thing slows down.
Oh, okay, yeah. David says, why don't these amazing ships have real-time camera systems?
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I think part of it is everything happens so fast. You know, I don't think people fully understand until you fly a turbine. Now, of course, there's different planes. The big planes fly slower, or they appear to fly slower. But regardless, everything happens really fast. Something like this little Super Bandit, it's going to have a 190 in it, 195, 185, something like that. It's going to be insane how fast this plane is. Like, it's going to weigh 20, 21 pounds, maybe 22 pounds. And it's got almost 2-to-1 on power. You know, this thing can go from one end of the field to the other end of the field in like a second at full throttle. So I think that's part of it is everything happens so fast. I have used some FPV stuff where I've had the goggles on while somebody was up flying a drone, and it's a really weird experience. So I don't know if I would ever actually fly FPV myself on a plane. It'd kind of be cool to try, I think, on a drone, but...
Drone moves slower.
Yeah, well, and the drone, you take your hands off and it stops, right? A plane, you always have to be moving forward. So...
The new iPhone 15 is going to have a setting on it where you can like take picture, video, and it'll turn it into a 3D.
Oh, wow.
So you can put your 3D glasses on or whatever, like and have like a whole 3D experience of whatever you just took.
That's cool.
Out of my price point right now.
Yeah, no kidding. Probably expensive. Yeah. So this is how we're kind of working through this. So first thing we did was glue the tube in place. So I glued the backside here with high sol and got a whole bunch in there with the tube. And then here, this may be hard to see, but we've just high soled this part of the tube, this part sticking out. This is a bit of a recess. So we'll let the high sol cure, and then what we'll do is we'll come in here with fiberglass putty, fill this in, and sand this out. So our wire has just enough space to come out here, but it's going to be almost invisible. So that's why we're doing it that way.
Dale says, your content is awesome. Great radio test also. Keep doing what you do and make sure Nez makes an appearance.
Thanks, Dale.
Cheers.
Yeah, good old Nez.
Nick says, can't remember, but what is the other epoxy you use when not using high sol?
West System 610. Actually, I've got a tube that is not chalked right now, or in the glue gun. Right-hand sideboard, if you want to grab it. I think it's near the bottom drawers. It's like a caulking tube. It'll be easier to see.
West 610.
Thank you, Vanna.
You're on camera no matter what you do. So this is the other stuff. West System 610 works really well as far as amounts. Let's look that up. Actually, I've never looked at that. So this is 190 milliliters. Okay. 190 milliliters, a tube of high sol. So a tube of high sol is 50 milliliters.
Yeah.
So you basically have 4 tubes of high sol in this one thing. So If you're using nozzles, the high sol is better because the nozzles are smaller in diameter. The West Systems nozzles are big. So you're gonna waste a lot more product if you're using the West Systems nozzle. So there's the West Systems one. The high sol ones are tiny compared to this. Probably a quarter of the volume. So, but this product, I have no problem using this product in the same scenarios as 9462. Yeah, it takes a long time to kick off though, that's the problem. 9462, it'll kick off in a couple hours and it'll be, you know, tacky where you can kind of still work with stuff. The West Systems, it's basically 8 hours before it kicks off. So both work fine though. I think the West Systems we used around the main engine hatch here. It kind of looks like Vaseline is what it looks like when you've got it mixed. So we used it around the main engine hatch to put all of our G10 plates on there. So that's one area that we used it on this build, was that area. So, but everything else we've used 9462.
That's already hard. And then 24 hours. You're not throwing a lot of it away either. No. You're not using that. I think that's the thing. You use a lot of it.
David Milton says, your craftsmanship is beyond. I think you create the state of the art. Thank you and your crew for every hour you share.
Thank you.
John Hopen says, with all that you do and modify, I don't notice a lot of focus on CG. And on that question, please relate the importance of fuel tank positioning in relation to center of lift. Thank you.
Sounds pretty technical. I don't know if I can answer that one. Can you repeat that?
Yep. Please relate the importance of fuel tank positioning in relate to center of lift.
So that I honestly have no clue about. So yeah, I don't know how. I don't know if you have any thoughts, Russell, but
You just try and keep it close to the CG, that's all.
Yeah.
So the bias of the fluid doesn't offset the CG as much so it burns closer to the center of gravity.
Yeah, I mean, in relation to the center of gravity, of course, that makes sense. But as far as center of lift, that I don't know anything about. But yeah, I mean, every plane's different. You know, something like the Super Bandit here, you've got a front hopper tank which sits right here, and your center of gravity is back here. Actually, it's way back here. So your front tank is actually about 1.5 feet in front of your CG point. So when this thing takes off, it's going to be insanely nose heavy. The other tanks are still in front of the CG. But you always want to set your plane up in landing condition. So some manufacturers will say, obviously, UAT full, gear down, but that's kind of a normal thing. But if you're going to be landing with some fuel in the tank, you should also keep that in mind. And it's more critical if your tank is in front of your CG point. So you know you're always going to land with some fuel. So that's how I would generally do it. Would be the Rebel as an example. You'll see that tomorrow. Tomorrow's video is all about the Rebel and the final steps. So in the Rebel, we do the CG there, and we set it up on the back of the wing tube, which is the manual recommends the front of the wing tube. But we set it up on the back of the wing tube, 800 milliliters in a 3,500 milliliter tank, which would be like a landing condition. UAT full, obviously, gear down. So that's the way I always do planes. If you didn't have that landing amount of fuel in the tank is still in front of the CG on that plane. So you're just going to be more nose heavy all the time. So that's it. Simple as that.
Sometimes we don't have we can't move the tanks back any further.
No, I mean,
This is where they are. Is
exactly.
Where they put them.
We really almost have zero chance to move it ever in a turbine aircraft. I mean, they're pretty much set.
We have to do a balancing with
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, on like an aerobatic prop plane, you maybe have a bit more variation, but still sometimes you don't because your wing tube's there.
Yeah, because of my new one, the tag's right over top the wing.
Yeah,
That's the only one that's like that. Though.
yeah.
Nick, so back to the iPhone comment. Nick says, yeah, have you seen the price of the new iPhone? You could buy a secondhand car.
How much is it?
Well, you can get one like, I think the payment is like just over $1,000 or something.
That's
Plus
for
you
the-
pay, no, plus you pay whatever it is.
That's the iPhone 15?
The 15
Oh,
Pro
wow.
or something rather.
Not worth it.
You just wait.
Not worth it.
Wait till the 16 comes out. And then get the 15.
17. No.
Yeah. Well, I just upgraded to the, what's that, a 13?
13?
Yeah, it's awesome.
What did you come from? 11?
The XR, XS or XR or
I had
something
an old
like
one.
that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it was like the 11 kind of thing.
I'm an Android.
But
Yeah.
you had so much stuff on yours. Oh my god.
Echo Smoke says, have you had a chance to use your new pump more?
Oh, I love pump. Where did I put it? Over here. Yeah, totally. We did the giveaway, obviously. And love this thing. It's great.
Pump it up, pump it up.
So no issues with it. Yes, Joe, it works amazing. Haven't flown in 2 weeks, so 2 weeks ago was the last time I used it. But yeah, totally love it. And there's a few things I love about it
Yeah.
that I didn't like about my other unit. Actually, I'll grab it and show you guys because I didn't talk about this in the review video because I didn't want to slander another product in the review. It's not really slandering, it's just telling the things I
Comparison?
don't like about it, I guess. Gotta be. So, whoa. So the XM Aviation one was the one I've been using for a little bit. Nice unit. A few of the downsides compared to Joe's unit is in order to reset the unit, you have a battery. So basically, let's say you fuel up your plane, you can leave the battery plugged in, but the counter won't reset, the volume counter. And in order to get volume again, you unplug the battery, plug it back in. And then of course, if you leave your battery plugged in, it's drawing power because the screen's lit up. So that's the first thing I didn't like about it. Second thing was it doesn't give you the volume when you take the fuel out of your aircraft. Only gives you the volume going in. So Joe's unit here, and I talked about this stuff in the video, but more specifically, I guess. So I've had this battery plugged in here for, well, 2 weeks now, and it's got an on-off switch, right? So now there's nothing parasitically taking power from the battery, which is great. And then of course, as we talked about in the video, it also tells you how much you're taking out of the aircraft, which is also very important as well. So yes, I've used it lots, Joe, and I love it. I think it's amazing.
Bill says, speaking of radio test, I'm waiting on the new FR Sky 20 Pro. FR Sky should be sending you some money.
Well, you know what's cool? Yeah. So, well, you guys that have watched the radio test, you know, but so after the radio test, Radio Master actually reached out to me and they say, hey, thanks so much for including us in the test. They knew we were doing the test because they sold me the Boxer radio for 50% off, basically. Thanks for including us in the test and doing all the work and everything. We'd like to send you a radio all customized for you. So I actually waited a couple weeks before replying, but just this past week I replied to them, picked everything out, and you know, it's all purple and channel colors and stuff, and it's all customized. It's going to take a few weeks for them to build it and send it to me. I'm not really going to be, and I'll be upfront, I'm not using it in any of my jets, but one of the cool things about the Radio Master is that it works with Spectrum, so it binds to Spectrum stuff. Plus it uses ERLS. So, what?
Do I get to use it?
Well, it's going to bind to your plane, so. Anyway,
And it's
so
purple.
So that was kind of cool that they reached out and they're doing that, which is awesome. And they're sending some receivers and stuff too. So I don't mind being upfront about that stuff. I don't expect any of those things. I mean, if FR Sky sent me a radio, they could, but I wouldn't be putting it in my planes because I've got Jetty, so why would I change, right? So that's my thinking with it.
And if Jetty wants to send you one, you can send
Well, if Jetty does, yeah, then
send it to me.
I'll gladly take another Jetty, but I don't think that's going to
No problem
happen.
taking the Jetty.
Just got a new Jetty. I don't need another one.
Oh no, but remember, I'm sponsored by radio companies. Yeah.
Right. That hasn't flown.
All the ones
20 years,
must be sponsored by Jetty.
Even the best pilots are not sponsored by it.
Dale says, I've been using the Aero Epoxy BVM 9566.
Yeah.
I have great results. Your thoughts?
Good stuff too. Yeah, I've used it before. I don't use it because for us to get it, it's very difficult. So because we're in Canada, if we want to order some of that stuff, shipping's atrocious. So I won some last year at the in 2022 at the Montana Jets event. So I used it. I used the one tube that I got, and I thought it was awesome. It's very similar to 9462 from Hysol, so no problems with it.
Kicks off a little quicker.
Yeah, it's a little quicker, but it's good stuff. Yeah, and when I say Hysol, guys, I'm not like
Getting paid by
yeah,
us.
use whatever you want. Like use some sort of aero epoxy, whether it's BVM or West Systems 610 or Hysol. Generally, critical joints, I will use Hysol, but use another good brand name, and you should have good success. So.
Nick says, thanks for that ward host with the most. Thanks. Thanks for the epoxy info. Be good for small layups.
Yeah.
John says, excellent response. You may not know what center of lift is, but you just cleared it up. Perfect. Thanks. I'll focus on landing configuration.
Awesome.
The center of lift is very close to the center of gravity.
Nick says, center of lift relates to the leading and trailing edge of what weight is applied in that area. Anything outside of that needs proper calculations to gain actual CG.
Huh. That sounds pretty technical, Nick.
Yeah, and usually the CG is about 33% of the chord.
See, you're getting way too technical for me.
No.
See, guys, I'm not smart. That's the thing.
Wow.
I'm not smart at all.
This is from state stuff. So
That's why I do the radio test,
it's
because
about
I'm not
33%.
smart.
Approximately, and it changes with every aircraft.
Yeah, see, Russell, he was a, what do you call it, an AME?
Aircraft mechanic.
Yeah, Russell was an AME, so
Got schooled in it.
he's justified in making these comments. I am not justified.
That's needs input sometimes.
Arnold says he just got his wife the iPhone 15 pre-order, $1,200 USD.
Wow.
Holy, that's like 1,800 Canadian.
But you know what? For what it does, though, come on now.
They've recorded music videos
Yeah,
with it. Like it's
I mean, I'm not specifically talking about the new 15. I'm just talking about in general. Like
Technology is
if you have to
crazy.
pay $1,000 for your phone, it's like,
Well, I did pay 11
know.
or 12 for my new one.
yeah, it's a camera,
12,
it's a whatever. We use it for everything, right? So,
yeah, the amount that we actually
Yeah,
use it, you're
exactly.
getting your money's worth.
yeah.
Nick says the 16, they'll put it in your head.
Just a little chip.
Christmas is coming. Change the channel. Change the channel.
FPV builds and tech. Are you doing YouTube and the store full time? What did you do for a living prior to all of this?
Ooh, good question. So I have 2 jobs. The store, we don't, like my website, we don't sell a lot of stuff. We sell some turbines and little 3D parts here and there, but it's not like, I'll give you an example, Heli Direct or Boomerang Jets, you know, they're the same company. Sometimes they'll post pictures and they've got a stack of new orders from the weekend of like hundreds of new orders. That's not us. I'll get a couple orders a week. That's about it. So the store portion doesn't keep me busy. But so I've got 2 jobs. Number 1 job is my job, and I manage a construction company. Fairly specifically, the specific part of what I do is I manage a stucco company. I work 4 days a week and get Friday, Saturday, Sundays off. So that started because of COVID. We took a pay cut. I asked for Fridays off, and we've been doing it ever since. And I'll never go back to working Fridays unless I really have to, but I love it. So my other full-time job is this. And I put just as much hours in a week in here as I do in my normal work.
I'd say more.
Yeah, more for sure. Because like during the summertime, it's a little bit different, but like in the wintertime when we've got snow on the ground, Friday, 12 to 16 hours, Saturday, 12 to 16 hours, Sunday, 12 to 16 hours. That varies a lot depending on what's going on in our life. And then usually during the week, every evening is in here unless we got something going on. So it's a lot of time spent in here, but I love it. But still doing both.
For now.
For now.
Stacy said, guess I didn't win. Sad.
Apparently you didn't watch the video, Stacy, because it was in the video.
Brian said, who won the fuel pump system in your video?
It was, what's his name? I can't remember his last name, but it's Dave. David Zotzman, that's who it is. He's from Saskatchewan. So yeah, a Canadian won it. Yep.
Surprise.
And it showed up this week. He posted a picture on YouTube or Facebook. So
David S. says, wait for DS24 V2.
I know.
You will have one of the first.
I'm gonna have to upgrade.
I hope so. Hopefully that's a bit of foreshadowing, David. I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, there's more there than he's just giving us like,
Yeah, I know.
Here you go. Dave's our guy with Jetty.
Dale says, thanks. Nick says, his handwork was awesome. You must be smart. You got Katie and Ward. Nice. Tigers RC, do you think the Rebel will be a stable airplane when it's flying?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Few guys at my club want to get into turbine RC and wanted to get a Rebel as a first jet.
Yeah, good choice plane. That size, too. Good size because it's going to fit in most vehicles. It's fuel efficient. It's fairly inexpensive to put together because you're going with like a, we'll just say a generic like 120 to 140 size turbine. Yeah, all in all, a pretty affordable plane and great starting plane for sure. I would say any aircraft, any of my aircraft that I build for myself, that I build for most of my customers, they all have a gyro. There's still lots of guys that for some reason they poo-poo gyros.
It's an age thing.
Things going up and down.
Well, and like, it's not like you need the gyro to fly the plane. So turn the gyro off if you don't like the gyro. But when you're landing specifically, it is a huge savior to your plane. So what we do with our gyro is we'll always do a norm. Let's say our flying gain is at 45%. Our takeoff gyro gain is like 65%. And our landing gyro gain will be 75%-ish. Those are just generic numbers. But when you're coming in for a landing, when you go up to that high of a gain, it absolutely locks your plane in, and you have to do very little fighting with the wind. But the other thing is that gyro can react quicker than you can. So if you get a bit of a wing drop or something, the gyro is going to react quicker than you're able to. So, but yeah, the Rebel's a great plane. I haven't flown this size Rebel. I have flown, Russell had a Rebel Pro, which is the next size up. And beautiful plane, great plane. It's also, just because of the size, it's a great plane, so.
That's a shout out to Carve.
Yeah.
D. Blackheart. Good evening, everyone. Looks like a full house tonight.
Yeah.
Mm.
David says, you got it. Thank you for all that you do. Appreciate it.
Thanks for everything he does.
All right, guys, it is time to set the vertical stab. I was going to say rudder, but we can't call it the rudder. I always hesitate with that.
That's the thing that goes beyond.
Yeah. This is the rudder This is the vertical stab.
Bingo. You got those right questions right.
Don't mess it up, otherwise you'll get chastised for it. Not by me.
Brian says, I love that a Canadian won it. I love your video. New jet for me coming soon. Wink, wink.
Sweet.
Cool.
Nick says, Rebels hugely popular here, and at the jet meet, there was a MLRE Rebels, or there was more Rebels than anything else. Price on them is pretty good, although the 22-footer might be a tad more.
Well, that must be the max they're talking about, that 3.3 or 3.
Yeah, and
That's huge.
I kind of joke about planes like the Rebel, like the Ultra Flash. I call them belly button planes. And I call them belly button planes because everybody has one, right? It's not a negative thing though. Like I've owned, I think 6 Ultra Flashes for the past 10 years. That's been such a top seller for CARF. The Rebels though are an amazing aircraft as well. And they're a belly button plane, but they look really cool too. Like that's a really cool scheme up there that David has, so yeah.
Well, and you want something that is going to be easier to fly than,
Oh yeah, for
you
sure.
know, so if you're starting in the hobby
Yes.
and you're starting with turbines.
Yeah.
It doesn't have too many negative characteristics at all.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It
you want
is-
something easy
It
to,
is very good all around. All around.
Yeah, and there's things like, you know, my suggestion is always a twin boom, like a boomerang jet. But some guys just absolutely refuse to buy a boomerang as a first jet, and that's fine. Buy a Rebel, awesome first jet. Buy a Ranger from Boomerang as well, awesome first jet. A little bit more affordable and just a good all-around plane as well too. So you can't go wrong with the Ranger as well. But the twin boom aircraft, easy to fly, and it grows with you.
That's
So
my first one.
yeah,
When I finally get it to fly.
exactly, super cool.
But we'll be doing a show on it as we rebuild it.
Okay, quiet on the set. Recording. All right, guys, we're gonna set the vertical stab aside. We need to let some of the high sol cure before we can do anything else. So we have glued in our brass tubes here. You can see that they are essentially flush with the surface of the vertical stab. So we haven't come proud with the high sol because we're gonna fill that up with fiberglass putty. And we did the same thing on this side over here. So you look from the inside, we've got high sol throughout holding those brass tubes in, and that is perfect. So we've got a couple more steps to do on the vertical stab, but we'll get back to that when we are able to finish up those little pockets. Perfect.
It took a long time just to do those.
Flight Systems RC says the Rebels nickname is the Gentleman's Jet. And Nick says, Canadian won prize, rigged.
Oh yeah.
Good day.
Welcome to our show.
I'm actually always surprised because, so I use a program called TubeBuddy, and TubeBuddy helps with YouTube optimization and helping with YouTube. I pay like $25 US a month for TubeBuddy. And one of the cool things with TubeBuddy, the way we do our contests, the way we do it, is TubeBuddy has a, and you guys have seen this before on the channel, it's got a selector thing. So you can go on there and you can pick either a random comment from all the comments in a video. It's called Pick a Winner is the feature. Or you can select like from a specific word. So I'm always surprised when I go on there and type in the word, I think the last one was fuel, and type it in. I'm always surprised at who actually pops up, right? So anyways, it was legitimately Dave Zotzman from Saskatchewan. Only one province over, so really close.
Big problems.
Well, gents, it's wing time.
Yeah, wings. We're
Yeah.
gonna wing it.
Did you bring your buffalo sauce?
No. Got the high salt sauce.
Wrong wings, guys, wrong wings.
These are very uplifting.
Ward.
Yeah. It's Ward, we're not quite sure why we invite him, but he just keeps showing up every Saturday.
Ah, we like them.
I have nothing else to do.
Except that we're gonna get you flying jets. So.
Hey, I did my first lift off.
And landing, all in the same flight.
Same flight.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Put that in the top drawer.
And since then, Johnson's been up and fighting.
Yeah. You succeeded. That's it. We're done.
I'm done. I'm a pro now.
You kicked out of the nest, now just go.
Yeah, but I just go.
No, you won't.
All right, so wings. So we need to come back and make our linkages, do the putty and stuff on there.
Just one, right?
No, we're going to do both wings. Can leave the surfaces over here. Because I think the first thing we have to do is cutouts. All right, this is the last massive thing to do in this build of this aircraft.
We're gonna cut those out, eh?
Yep. So first thing we have to do is mark out those guys with masking tape. Grab the blue stuff. You've got to leave the line proud of the tape.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
So focused.
Oh, you're cutting out for the landing gear.
Nope, too much proud.
Closer?
Basically that little bump has to touch the tape. So the reason we put the tape down is it just helps visually see where you need to cut. Yeah. Because there's little raised bumps on the wing surfaces, but really difficult to see. So you outline it with tape.
So you're cutting that whole thing out right now.
Yeah.
And part of it's gonna come back.
Yeah, so you basically have your shell, then your doors, and then there's actually a door kit. Or a wing kit, I guess is the better way to say it.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest kit of them all. Oh, and I'll give you guys a sneak peek on what we got.
What you get?
Oh, this. I don't think you see this for 2 videos, so like full on sneak peek.
Close your eyes.
The nozzle. So we got Hype custom pipe. Hype used to do the stuff for TAMs.
Yeah.
And this is the nozzle for the Super Bandit.
That's nice.
So it's kind of a unique system here. So what happens is this existing tail piece, we do a cutout in here. Have to figure that out. This sits in there, so it's all part of it, and that'll be showing pretty much all the way around. We keep the bottom section of the fairing piece, so the line will come somewhere around about here, and then that sits in there. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I actually haven't put the pipe on it yet to see this, so. Yeah, and we paid him a little bit extra to do the pre-colored stuff on it.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's super nice.
Very realistic.
So same kind of thing we did on the F4s as well too. It's one of those little tiny pieces that really transforms an aircraft. So looks really nice. I love that. Super cool.
David Feltus says, yes, sport jets fly better, but scale ones look so cool.
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
Nick says, when I went to order Reaction 54 kit, not bad postage, was 3 times the kit price, 540 odd. Said to Bruce, send plans, $30 postage, 70 in the end, 20 by email. Downside living at bottom of the world.
Yep. There's downsides to living in Canada too. Everything we order in, we have to pay crazy fees and stuff on. It's pretty nuts. So we got lots of little doodads and doohickeys. So first thing I like to do is get all that stuff laid out so we have a good visual of everything that we have. We'll grab another one of our trays here because the wing will take the entire tray.
Yeah, we haven't heard from our buddy in Whitefish, Kelly. He hasn't shown up.
Oh yeah.
Kelly, are you there?
Kelly, are you there?
Mr. F18 guru.
All right, so there's our parts. And I've never built one of these before, so usually I get to this point and I'm kind of just looking through and admiring all the little doodads and doohickeys, and eventually it all makes sense. Cool. Well, that's that stuff. All right. So use razor saw to cut the landing gear and aileron servo access panels from the wing bottom. Use masking tape to outline and move forward edge of aileron pocket. What? Use masking tape to outline and move forward edge of aileron pocket 3/16 of mold, forward of molded mark. Right there. Oh, Grandpa's cooking stuff. If you guys hear the fire alarm, that would be Grandpa in the basement. Or we may have a fire right now, I don't know.
We'll know in 15 minutes if something shows up.
3/16, removing that forward.
Brian says, all we're missing is the cat to walk across the table.
Yeah.
Nez is inside sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she's not out here, actually.
She's on paid leave.
And Nick is wondering if I've shown you how to do landscape, what? Land, sea, zeep, I don't know what this is.
Has Katie shown you how to do, I don't know what that is.
Nick, what is that?
I think that's supposed to be landscape, I guess. Landscape, I don't know.
Maybe?
Bad spelling?
Dale says he printed some of those part organizers also. Very handy.
Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, they're just on Thingiverse, right? Thingiverse. Thingiverse.
Brian says typo.
So and this is the stuff that I actually sometimes struggle with going through this BVM manual, is just the lingo and like how it all goes together. I'm very much a visual person. I'm not a reading person, so looking at the pictures makes a ton of sense, but when I have to sit here and read the stuff, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So use the masking tape to outline and move forward edge of aileron pocket. Oh, okay, so that's just the aileron pocket. So forward edge of aileron pocket, 3/16 forward of molded mark. Okay. So we're outlining that, but we're going 3/16 forward.
Just on the gear, you cut the inner one out first and then the outer one?
I'll wait till see what it says. I think it says something specific about that.
So just Leave a little gap before the line?
Nope.
No, do the same thing? Same thing.
So we're doing the same thing. We're just moving the forward part of the pocket to make it a little bit bigger.
Dr. Magic Hands here.
Who?
You,
Why?
Dr. Magic Hands. It's just not magic hands, it's Dr. Magic.
So your forward, no, don't tape that yet. Your forward edge is going to be 3/16 further forward. So let's tape our sides, and then we'll do the, no, you're good.
Keep going.
So it's sides, and then we'll tape the front after.
You want a little bit bigger.
Nick says full pick, unlike last week. I'm not sure. I don't know. Are you just saying like my video?
Oh, yeah. Last week I started the video and I was up and down.
Oh,
And it won't change like while the live's going
Right.
on.
That's
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
So I made sure I had the camera sitting sideways.
Hold on, make sure it's the right way. It's an
He-
iPhone thing.
Yeah, he said they were stuck in portrait mode and
Yes.
couldn't put it into landscape. It's because I wasn't here.
Yeah.
No, he sets it all up. I
We
don't do
called
anything.
for you, we begged for you to come, but you wouldn't come, Katie, you abandoned us. I think she was working downstairs on
I was working.
the ice cream stuff.
Brian says pictures are the nest or best for me too, like to visualize the end product.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a lot of people are like that though.
Show me a picture. I have no problem following it. Write a description for me. Ugh, I've got to read it multiple times. Okay, so that's that one.
Mark that one.
Measure twice, cut once.
Yep. Sorry, Ward, your line was off. Okay, so 3/16. The other part about putting this BVM kit together has been doing imperial measurements on so much stuff. Like when they say, put this rod out 0.704 inches. So you gotta like pull the calipers out and be like, okay, put it on 0.7704.
I'd pull up the calipers and convert it
Yeah.
out. Oh.
Because then I was looking at one of the rulers and I was like, in the manual it had like thousandths on the ruler,
Yes.
or tenths or something like that.
Tenths.
Yeah. Yeah, it
That's
was.
what my little one from aircraft maintenance is in tenths.
Yeah.
Up to an inch.
Like you can barely tell the difference with the lines. Like they're tighter than millimeters.
Right.
Nick says we don't need Nez. We got Ward and Russell.
Yeah, exactly. They're entertainment enough for
Jump
sure.
on the table?
No. We're not into anything on, no.
It's after dark, but not that dark yet.
Yeah, it's not the kind of show.
So use.
Walk over
This isn't Magic Mike.
Use masking tape to outline. So use the boldest marks to cut the doors loose from the main gear panel and discard the doors. Just toss the doors away. You just throw them away.
These.
Arnold says, I don't get how you guys go from metric and inches all the time in construction. Home
I-
construction.
I actually pretty much only use imperial still for what I do, but our stuff's pretty simple because it's just exterior of homes. But we still measure in square footage. That square footage gets converted to square yards, and that's what we use to measure our stucco stuff. But it's the same thing when we're building a house. Like when we built this house, I mean, all of our plans are done in square, or lineal foot and feet and inches, right? When you have metric stuff, I have to sit there and convert it. So when I've got elevation drawings and it's like 3,000 millimeters or whatever, You know, I take that 3,050 divided by 25.4 divided by 12, and I get my feet in inches. So,
Yep. Drywall comes in 4 foot by 8 foot sheets.
yep.
Or 10 foot or whatever, but it's always 4 foot.
So for throwing those doors away,
Brian wants Ward to do it.
Cut those out first and just toss them.
Ward's pretty old. If he jumps up on that
If he
table,
gets
he's
up on
probably
the
going to
table.
fall off.
I can't get that high. I need a step ladder.
The brain is willing, but the body's not.
The body's been gone.
So I don't really understand why it says discard the doors.
I wouldn't.
Maybe it just means put it aside.
Just discard them, throw them away.
Do you remember looking at the Patrick's if he had the doors?
Yeah, the doors are part of it.
Do they come on?
Arnold says, don't forget the eye squints. Nick says, settle, Ward. Brian says, what colors are you going with the jet?
Ooh, we've pretty much decided on the red and black scheme. Red, white, and black. Oh, I guess we do doors in wood.
There you go.
That's weird. Why wouldn't you do doors in fiberglass?
That's what I kind of thought. They look like doors.
Maybe they get wood lined on the inside. They must.
Yeah, that's too flimsy for.
Yeah.
That'll blow apart the first.
But then there's this too. That's weird.
But this feels really thick, so it's like they sent you templates.
Well, we're not going to throw those out because we're probably going to use them.
Yeah. Maybe it's for mounting. Can you see the holes on them?
Yeah.
For putting the screws and then fastening to the gear. I'm snowballing.
This whole kit makes my brain hurt. Let's fast forward in the manual and see what we can figure out.
Brian says, love those colors on a jet.
Yeah, it's pretty much the go-to colors. Me too. I do love those colors, and they are. It's a really nice, classy look to this plane as well too.
Well, mine's pink, white, and black, so maybe you should go with that.
No.
No.
No,
No pink.
no hot pink.
No girly stuff.
It's not my plane, so it's not my choice.
It's David's plane.
Yes.
Those were the colors back.
David,
in the
you
80s.
still on here?
No girly stuff.
Yeah. Good luck convincing him to do pink.
Well, that's a throwback to like Circus. They used to do sponsorships in the 80s and 90s, and they would have hot pink. Their planes. Chip Hyde had planes hot pink. He still has planes hot pink.
It looks good in the air.
Oh, it's very visual.
Yeah.
It's very visual.
Nick says, plans probably a bit, yeah, at some point. Do carbon ones strong and light.
What?
Probably, he's talking about the doors maybe?
Doors.
Oh
Do
yeah.
Carbon ones strong and light.
So it says use scrap ply strips from door blank to make curvature.
What?
Yeah, it seems like we're using the wood.
Brian asks, your logo has pink. Was that your idea?
Yes. I actually made my logo in about 2 minutes on a logo maker. Whatever, I can't remember what the online app was, but it's like an app you can go online, make a logo. I made it in like 2 to 5 minutes, and it was that quick. So it was super easy. I think I might have sent it to Katie. I can't remember, but I sent it to like Katie and a couple people, and they're like, yeah, that looks cool. I'm like, all right. So there wasn't a whole lot of thought put into it, but I don't know, I like it. I wanted it to be bold and easy to recognize, and that's where the pink comes in.
Nick says, I'm with Katie. Going that fast, pink is the only thing you're going to see.
Exactly.
I don't know if I'm going to convince David on the pink, but
No. Huh.
It's too far back.
I'm kind of confused about the doors, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, definitely one thrown out.
No. Doesn't make a lot of sense to,
Replace them with wood.
yeah, I don't know why we would replace them with wood. That's odd.
This is structurally better and stronger. Under speed? Come on.
Weird. And they're carbon too.
Yeah.
Do you want to close that door all the way, please?
Dragon Killer says you would not lose your plane in the sky with hot pink.
Agreed. But it's not my plane.
Arnold says is great for distance along with red. However, if you can't see red in a blue sky, the pink it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a good point. I'm going to close my trailer door. I'll be back in a sec. I'm trying to keep the bugs out.
Yeah, certain people can see certain colors better than, and also combinations. Like, I know the camera doesn't pick up the green on that Rebel, but it's like a John Deere green. It looks actually really nice. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's different than the standard Carf fluorescent green,
Oh, that is.
as I would call it.
It's like an emerald
Yeah.
green.
And that purple stands out too.
Yeah, voodoo. Mine's got that same voodoo. Thank you, Richard Dorado.
Nick says have a look on plans.
Oh, good idea, Nick. Dang, you're smart.
Get third party.
Thanks, Lou. Here they are. Want to bring it up top?
Yep.
It's like wrapping paper. Okay. It's like drafting them once again. Oh, we don't have the draft anymore.
It shows the wood there.
So landing gear door detail. So yeah, you keep the door skin. No, 1/32 ply door skin. So yeah, you're making them out of ply. And the poly ply,
which they
ply,
gave
ply. Oh, it's over there. Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I guess they're trying to, whoa, that's
It's really thin.
super thin.
Yeah, it gets built up with 5 layers. So
Kelly, where are you? We need some input on this.
Nick says John only went outside to silent scream pink. No. He's not afraid of pink.
no, I actually like pink. I don't have any problem supporting the pink.
And that goes on that, and these are the doors. Yeah. But what else goes on the door?
Well, that's interesting. Very interesting.
That's for the elevator.
I'm sure there's a reason.
But I'm sure we can improve it.
Well, we'll see. We'll get there and see what happens.
Nick says looking at picture better than reading.
Yep. Agreed.
That picture says 1,000 words.
Okay. So basically we do the cutouts and then we get on to flap hinging is the way things work. Okay, so that one's good.
Fine Dremel cutter. Yes.
Yeah, the 409 disc,
She's real fine, that 409.
but the pull saw is also it's sometimes more accurate.
Yeah.
Problem is getting it started, actually. That's usually the issue.
Yeah, you know, once you Japanese,
Zona saw.
Seesaw?
Bought one of those for a build, and it was really good.
Brian says, do you use rattle can to paint or mix automotive paint and spray?
The last big plane that I painted, we used two-part epoxy paint actually, and it's a real pain in the butt. The last, what did I just say? The last, I don't know how to explain it. So we painted an A10, that would have been the last plane we actually painted. We did that with rattle can. That was an old scheme we were changing to the Black Snake scheme. We did that with rattle can because it was a warbird scheme, so it's a little bit less stringent than like a shiny glossy scheme, right? Previous to that, we did the PC6, and that plane we painted with two-part epoxy paint using an automotive sprayer and everything. So I actually really dislike painting, so the chance to give this to somebody else to paint, I was all over it. Totally fine with that. Because when I do paint, I set up a paint booth. In our old shop or garage, I had a mezzanine like this, and I would tarp off the entire mezzanine underneath, make basically a spray booth, and set up a ventilation system and everything. So it's a bit of a pain. The A10 we sprayed outside because it was summertime, springtime, and it was totally worked out awesome. So.
You gonna film this?
Have you done
Maybe.
single stage automotive?
No, I've never done single stage well, yes and no, like rattle can single stage automotive. Yeah, and it works fine. Actually, that was the stuff for the A10. It was rattle can, but it was automotive rattle can.
It works really good.
It actually, yeah, it really does.
It really has a point, like the tips on it have come so
Yeah.
very good and so fine.
So here's this is actually the color we used on the Ultimatum doors. Yeah, the rattle cans are amazing now. You've got adjustable flow as well. So, I mean, at least the place that I get them from, you do. So you can actually adjust the flow through the nozzle. And you can adjust the nozzle position as well too. So it's going to have a spray pattern like this. You can take that nozzle and twist it and put your spray pattern any way you want. So yeah, I have used single part automotive, and they spray really nice. And then using like a 2K clear over top of it, again, really, really nice quality stuff.
John says, save cutoffs and move forward. When you need to focus, it will become clear. With blueprints and a cutoff template, you can always adapt.
Yes, exactly.
Nick says, can't get over the size of the rudders on that SU30. Have you decided if it's going to take pack of horses on a 3-day trip from the rear of the SU30 to the nose? Okay, what?
When we did the unboxing video, Katie doesn't know what you're talking about. When we did the unboxing video, we made a comment that like, okay, we're at the back of the plane, we got to go to the other time zone, the front of the plane.
Yeah.
So that's what he's talking about.
It almost takes up that whole wall.
Oh yeah, it's
And you gotta remember, Russia has 6.5 time zones.
It's
So.
still 2
yeah. The stinger comes off to here, right? So it's another 1.5 feet longer.
I
It's
think
cool.
in the real one, that stinger holds the radar for detecting planes coming from the back. I think that's what it is.
When we pulled down the F18 today and had the F18 sitting here, I was like, oh man, it looks like a toy compared to the size of that thing. I mean, the F18's big too. It's just not as girthy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's quite a plane, holy. And that's small compared to what we have coming. Like the F14 XL is 2 feet longer than that thing. The F22 we have coming is 2 feet longer than that. Like it's insane, so big.
We have to build shelves in order to fit all the stuff in.
Yeah, totally.
Cody says, howdy from Texas.
Hey, Cody.
Yeah, hi, Cody.
Brian says, where do you get it from? Probably the spray stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's like an automotive place. So this place that I get it from is called Advanced Automotive. They do automotive color stuff. That's all they do. But
You can
Yeah, any automotive place you should be able to get it.
bring in a swatch of the color and they'll match it really close. That's what they did with your diamond, remember?
Yeah.
When you had to paint the metal?
Yeah.
Nick says plastic coat is a good option as well, dries really hard.
Yeah.
Nick says SU30 is all bulk.
Yes, a lot of bulk. The other, I guess one of the downsides of the SU30 is the transportation of it. So because the design of the fuselage, I know most guys that own one, they will transport it on the gear because there's no great way to make a cradle for it because there's not a lot of former structure and you've got such a big area in the front that would be unsupported unless you put a cradle extension up there. But again, there's not a lot of structure in the nose. It's a whole bunch of small structure. So it's, it's a bit of a challenge, or it can be.
Brian says, I work for one, I will get it mixed.
Nice.
Probably in automotive. Tigers RC, what motors are you going to use in the SU30?
So SU30 is getting a pair of Zykoy 235s. The F18 XL is going to also get 235s. And so yeah, that's the plan for it. So.
John asks, do you ever wet sand with 5,000 automotive grit or more and then do another light coat?
Never that fine, no. Anything over anything over 300 to 500 will disappear between coats. I've never tried doing something like that fine, so. Okay, I gotta record, hold on a sec. Okay, this is video number 7. The magic of the videoing. It's all in the editing, guys, all in the editing. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Super Bandit build. We are moving on again to our next big portion of this build. Video number 7, 5 plus 2, is the wing video. Now I think this is going to be a huge task on this plane, so I cancel that part. I think the wings are probably going to take up 2 episodes. Don't quote me on that. We'll see how it goes. So we've pulled the wings out. We've laid them out on the table. We've got our parts organized. We'll take a quick look at all that stuff, but let's dive into these wings.
We've got hi from Perth, Western Australia.
Oh my gosh.
Love the videos you put out. Plus, this channel gives us all a better insight as to what you have to do to build a plane. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What time is it there in Australia? Nick says, hey, if your gear collapses in transit, not fit for purpose.
Actually, something cool with the SU. Let's take a look at it. And I didn't know this until David told me about it. Remember that little release?
Yeah. Oh, we were wondering about it on both sides.
So right here, down here, this is actually a gear lock. So when that gear comes down, there's a ball. The ball locks onto that piece.
Oh, so the air.
So the gear, so even if you lose air, the gear can't move.
It's a manual lock.
So when you do a gear up command, this lock is on the red side, so the lock lifts and allows the gear to come up.
Pulls up the lock.
Yeah, so super cool. So there's a physical lock on the gear.
Wow.
He says it's 10:30 a.m. Sunday.
Nice.
Wow.
And Waz says it's 12:30 in Tasmania.
AM, I'm assuming.
12:30 a.m. probably, yeah. Any idea of what the weight of the SU30 will be when it's done?
Hold that thought for 1 second. All right, guys, so we've got all of our wing parts laid out here. The wings definitely have the most amount of parts of this all. So we've got lots of wood structure, lots of random carbon things and wood things, and there's all the hardware for the wing package. So lots to do in this video, which is why it's going to take probably the most amount of time. The SU is, I was chatting with somebody yesterday. What is today? Saturday? Yeah. I was chatting with somebody yesterday about it, and I think the SU comes out at about 99 pounds full of fuel. Yeah, so one guy that owns one, I think it was Mario maybe, he reached out to me and just said, make sure you focus towards the front end of the aircraft, try and keep it light. So he's got the same aircraft. His came out at 99.6 pounds full of fuel, ready to fly. He does have smoke on board, which is kind of the only extra little thing he added, but yeah, so about 100 pounds when it's done. So I thought it was going to be less, actually.
I did too. Wow. I thought
Yeah.
about 75, 80.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Because we've had some F18s in the past that I think were like 75, 80 pounds full of fuel.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the A10, SKYMASTER A10, full of fuel. That thing is without ordnance is about 75 pounds, 76 pounds. So.
Wow.
John says, does the SU come with an aviation lavatory? Good grief, that's huge.
And I think it holds 12 liters of fuel too. So if you think about that, actually, I don't know so 12 times 1.8, what's that?
20 pounds.
That's like 3 milk jugs.
Yeah.
About 20 pounds.
So 12 times 1.8. So when it's full of fuel, that's adding 21.6 pounds. So without any fuel in it, it's probably going to be about 80-ish pounds.
Dry weight. Yeah.
Dry weight, yeah.
That makes sense.
So that's a huge difference.
Yeah, so I was going with dry weight, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brian says it's 11:30 p.m. here in Atlantic Canada.
Wow, Atlantic Canada.
Nick says, I think you need to have Ward in there doing some hand gestures while it's explaining stuff.
Are you sure? Look at those sausage fingers. You take up the whole camera.
2:30 in New Zealand, I think. Or 2:30, is that 2:30 a.m. in New Zealand?
No, that'll be
NZ.
same as,
Afternoon.
Be PM.
2:30 p.m.?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
afternoon.
a friend of mine says how the weather there is starting to get too darn cold
Yeah,
there.
Dave,
New Zealand, they're coming into springtime.
I know.
what camera do you use for your video? Do you recommend it?
No.
No, it overheats.
Ugh, stupidest camera ever.
It's this one.
This dumb thing.
Should have went with the Nikon.
So the Canon G7X Mark II, great camera for about 7 minutes of recording, and then it overheats and
And then it
turns
just
itself
shuts
off. So when we did the unboxing of the SU, that was a 4-hour process
That was
to do the unboxing.
32 minutes.
You know, and like I might set the camera up while we're pulling stuff out of the box and only use 30 seconds of that footage. But it's nice to have the camera on and recording some of that stuff, but it only records for 8 minutes on 4K setting. And then there's no way to go like fix it. I mean, you could reduce it to 1080, but yeah, it's so frustrating. So don't buy that camera, it's terrible. There's a Sony that I have written down on my phone that's supposed to be awesome for vlogging and stuff. So, which is what I basically need a 4K camera that can record indefinitely, that won't overheat. So.
Arnold says, LMAO, keep it light, 99 pounds. What's considered light in the jet world?
Not that.
Not that.
Arnold says, skip gym day on that.
Yeah.
Chad says, hi guys and lady, thanks. Nick says, SU-34 has bunk and toilet mind range, 1,700 kilometers. And Waz says it's 12:30 p.m. in Tasmania, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
springtime.
Yeah, springtime.
That's cool.
Yeah, their summer is like Christmas time, right?
Yeah, it's just starting to get.
We're just getting into fall.
It's coming in with a vengeance. All the trees are changing. We probably
Everything's
have.
yellow.
Well, it's mid-September, so we probably have if we go out every single weekend, we probably have 4 more flying days.
That's it.
And that's it. That's it. So it's so sad.
And then it's full on build.
4 more weeks of flying weather, and then that's it. And the last 2 will probably be a little chilly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just using the pull saw on this stuff. The pull saw is thinner than the 409 discs. So the 409 Dremel discs are your thinnest Dremel discs. I'll grab one, give me a sec. .409s. So the 409 discs are, as I said, the thinnest Dremel discs. Right there. So they're quite delicate, like obviously you could take these and just snap them, no problem. But if you take this 409 disc and try and fit it in the slot from the pull saw, it won't fit. It's probably twice the width of the pull saw. Actually, well, let's measure it. That's an interesting concept.
Dremel used to make a little saw like
So our discs are 0.66 millimeters. Our pull saw, I'm going to guess, 0.45.
Really?
0.43.
Oh,
So you're
Scheissens.
a third less thickness on the pull saw. So the downside with the pull saw is you have to be very careful because it's really easy to screw up your hatches.
Arnold says it's 92 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my
there today.
gosh. Beautiful.
I went up to 27 today.
Yeah, we were 26.
Yeah, we were really nice today. What's that in Fahrenheit? So 30 degrees is 90.
Is it in the high 20s? Like,
It was like 27 today.
27.
yeah.
It was like 85, yeah.
85, 86. It was nice.
Nick says, Waz, you wouldn't think so at the moment. Antarctic blast at present wind and rain. Chad says, so when are we getting Katie out flying the Cub?
Well, Katie just started a new business venture, so she's probably never flying ever again. So this may be the last time that she's actually being here at the after dark. So
Sure is.
no,
No, metric's better.
Way better. Millimeters, way better.
All you have to do is know how to count to 10.
That's it. And divide by 10, multiply by 10.
10 by 10 by 10. There you go. You got everything. Not 1/16 to 1/32 to 1/64. Like, come on. The English were drunk.
Nick says, yeah, you gotta watch them discs. Had about 5 explode so far.
yeah,
Yeah,
12 degrees Celsius there.
they're great. You can't flex them, whatever.
He's through.
Sorry if it's shaky sometimes. My hand falls asleep and then I have to switch hands.
Actually, I'm gonna have to get one of the gyro centers.
all right, this is tons of fun.
Progress is not as quick as it could be.
And you guys see this in the video. It's like, hey, okay, the hatches are cut out. 10 seconds goes by, and this takes like 2 hours.
Well, you're going real fast this time.
This is about it.
All last week and all he did is a couple wings. Flaps.
Well, so I've been trying to talk about this in the videos. Where's my pen? I lost it. Thank you. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. I got to calculate this. So. So, up until the live started tonight, to get to where we are with the Super Bandit, we have put in 5, 10, 15, my hours, doesn't include Ward's hours.
35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85.
86 hours to get to this point.
It's over 2 weeks worth of work.
Yeah,
He spent a week doing this. That's it.
yeah. So it's, I kind of, in the video that comes out on Wednesday, I kind of said that I think we're going to probably be at about 100 hours to get this finished and ready for paint. I don't think so. I think it's going to be probably close to 120. Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing how much time actually goes into assembling this aircraft.
Waz says it's a beautiful day here, 16 degrees. Dave says, you mentioned it on prior episodes, but I must have missed it. What is polyply and typical application?
Polyply. Polyply. What is polyply? Polyply is the...
Isn't that the stuff you're using behind the doors?
Yeah, polyply is like this stuff. So this piece is a piece of polyply from BVM. So all it really is G10 or fiberglass material that's generally smooth on both sides. So that's polyply, and then there's, Katie, if you bring the camera around.
There's polyply in there.
So here's another shot. So this is the same thing. So when I order this from a supplier, this will be labeled as G10 sheet. So G as in guy, 10 as in the number 10. So G10 sheet. But this is all polyply as well too. It's backer for the main hatch and backer for the speed brake and everything. So that's what polyply is.
Instead of using like plywood.
Yeah. So super thin, nice and rigid, weighs like next to nothing.
And stronger.
And strong.
Yeah, it's stronger than even the plywood in the same size.
Nick says, Ward, you need to present with a hand gesture there while he's cutting. There we go.
Oh! Ward loses a finger.
I think we gotta get you to watch some of those Vanna ones when she's turned into leathers.
We're not painting the jet yet. I know he wants it red, but
Careful you don't cut your fingers off.
Yeah.
Not Ward red.
not Ward red.
Yeah. Jonathan red is acceptable.
Brian says, yeah, when I'm building an ARF, people that don't build say, why is it taking so long to get that plane going? It
Yeah.
looks almost ready to go.
No.
Brian says, like Vanna.
Stick the wings on and throw it.
Boy, that thing cuts quick when it gets going.
We'll have to get Ward a sequin gown so that he can
I got a green one.
That's right. She
So
always
that
would wear that.
he can do the hand gestures while in a sequin gown.
Mine's green.
Oh.
Two more.
Two more, yeah, on this one door.
It's only one door, that's all.
A man skirt.
Hey, I cut this short.
Send a photo. And it's not a kilt, okay.
It's got to have sequins on it.
A kilt with sequins.
This is
That's
almost
called a kilt.
this is almost as exciting as
skirt.
doing wiring. Although these cuts are looking stellar.
Nick says, there's your problem. John, yours isn't green.
Yeah.
Brian says, measure once, cut slowly.
Yes.
This is sort of cutting this up.
Arnold says, wouldn't it be chaps since the back is wide open?
Some A-list chaps.
We are in cowboy country, so yeah, yeah.
Don't give him any ideas.
He's wearing a smock too, you know.
If that happens, I quit.
He's just my, when,
And his is leather.
This chap's.
Okay, it's going into the G rating.
Yeah.
Oh, better go make it demon.
So I told Russell when he was coming over, I'm like, hey, you can be here, you just got to keep it G rated.
Brian says, my eyes.
That's it.
All right, last little bit.
Oh my god, that's funny. It's true though.
Nice.
Waiting to open up the supplies package.
Yep.
Oh, we need the blade, yes.
Brian says, one down. Well, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want that to come up because if it goes in, it's going to be a bear cat getting out.
Oh, there you go.
That sounded like it. Here we go.
We got it.
There it is.
Dragon
First thing
Force
we do,
says, 3 to go.
mark it.
That's right.
So this is left wing forward. And this tip time has been brought to you by Trusty Bent Screwdriver. There's Trusty.
You can see, like in most of the modern ones, there's like a, what do they call that foam that they use in there?
Eric's?
Yeah, that's all like balsa in there. So it's a big difference in the design.
Well, yeah, it's basically they're using balsa in place of the Eric's, right?
Yeah.
That layer of carbon's kind of interesting. That's what was being tough to get through.
Yeah, that looks interesting.
Nice. Sorry guys, got to make some noise for about 3 seconds. Always in dust control mode.
Cole says, to do with one you're building now, what would be a ballpark figure? What would it cost someone to get a plane built by you, not including shipping?
To do what?
I guess to do like the plane that you're building now, a ballpark figure, what would it cost someone?
Oh,
I guess it really depends on how customized and.
yeah, it's kind of a tough thing to just throw a number at, but to give you an idea, I generally charge $35 an hour if I'm doing an hourly project. But it depends on how much we're doing, right? So, you know, you've got a ton of labor getting this aircraft built to the paint stage. Painting is generally going to be a few $1,000s, depending on who's doing it. But that would be like a normal painting price. And then once it's all built, you've got the assembly process. So unfortunately, with a plane like this, they end up being insanely expensive because the amount of time involved in it. So I've got my T-33 that I'll be building as well this winter, which is the same kind of kit as this BVM Super Bandit. My plan is to keep that for myself, but if somebody does want to buy it, it will be for sale, but unfortunately, they end up being very expensive planes because of the labor involved. So, yeah.
Arnaud says, good evening.
Howdy.
Russell. Question, how do you make sure the saw doesn't slip during the initial cut?
Ooh, good question. So we'll do this other hatch. So basically what you're doing is, number one, you want to have the tape in place. If you're trying to do this without the tape, it's going to sound stupid, but the tape actually really helps to keep that saw blade in place. So when you're doing the first cut, I'm just butting up to the tape here. And all I'm going to do is I've got just the tip of the saw rubbing the surface. So all I'm doing is creating a groove, and I'm looking down this backside here, if you want to flip the camera over, Katie. I'm looking down this backside as I do it to make sure I keep the saw nice and straight. And then what I'll do is I'll just come down the tape. And we haven't punctured through the wing skin, we've just started to come through the fiberglass, so the outer layer. So all we're doing initially is making a groove. We'll extend that groove following the tape. And I'm just going to come back. So now we're going into the wing skin. You can see the line right there of the dust on the tip of the saw. So that gives you the angle that I'm working at. So now we're just getting through the carbon. So now we're into the actual wing. So we've got our line kind of already set, and the line is perfectly in line with the tape. So now all we'll do is we'll just follow that line down the one joint. So now we've gone all the way through. And we're just going to butt the saw up to that corner. So we'll still have some left in the corner to cut, but we'll do that with an X-Acto blade. So now we're going to flip this around and we'll cut to the other side. So now this is a pull saw, so you're getting your aggressiveness when you pull, but in a situation like this, more accurate to push. Just because we're going to come to that corner and not go past, and that's it. So that's how I do it. The tape is really the key part of this.
And gentle pressure.
And just being careful.
Nick says, yeah, people have to go real smooth with razor saw. It's a detail instrument.
Yep.
Arnaud says, so well explained, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Nick says, redoing an STS Habu at the moment that
cool.
needs a birthday bit mounted. So sealing with 6 coats, polyurethane, and then primer scheme.
Nice.
That's a lot of work.
So that's the, what's the original scheme? Is that the old black and red one? Yeah, that must be the old black and red one I'm thinking.
Brian says, very instructive on the saw demo. Thank you.
You're welcome. And yes, it is a heck of a lot quicker to use a Dremel bit, but obviously the results are not as accurate, exactly. Oh, we only got 7 minutes left.
Break up the popcorn.
Nick says, yeah, scheme out of the box, red, white, silver, and black.
Oh yeah.
Brian says, I hate cutting, cowling.
Yep. Oh, my fingers. Just kidding.
Oh,
Medic.
There's some high fall glue here.
No, use CA, it's quicker.
Okay, see, okay.
And then you use the kicker.
Yeah, ooh, that makes
You
it
got a
fun.
nice burn sensation.
Seals it.
Quickly.
That's what I was saying earlier when I was gluing that stuff together.
Yeah.
I sprayed kicker on it. I'm like, oh, my finger. It was so stinking hot.
Had to do that the other
You
day.
got the alcohol. Took a swig and sprayed it on.
Not the rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, that layer of carbon is it's pretty strong actually.
It's right after the balsa.
Yeah.
'Cause you can hear it going through the balsa, and then all of a sudden the carbon is.
Nick says, been a hoot tonight's show, John. Forget to get Ward to do big sign off. He says, yeah, get super glue, you'll be fine.
There we go. Crazy.
Oh, don't forget to get Ward to do the big sign off.
Come on, baby.
There.
Mark it.
I know. Oh, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the carbon. Of the orientation of it. There it is. Yeah.
Almost knocked it all out of whack.
Right. Russell.
Robert says they're all going to sneak off after the show and slug down a couple of moose heads.
No.
All right, guys. Well, that's wow.
Look, they even have the notch out for the
I
servo
know.
there.
Very nice.
Nicely done.
This has been a fun experience putting this BVM kit together. It's different, although there's not a lot of overhang there. That's interesting. This one's in a different spot
So whoever put it in, yeah,
because we got a bit of a gap or an overhang there. Here, there's like nothing.
get right up against the.
But at least you'll be able to glue something on there.
Oh, I'm glad it wasn't into the rib.
All right, guys. Well, that's everything. That's 2 hours of Lighter Side of RC After Dark. Thank you for participating. Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. And that's it. Enjoy tomorrow's video. Tomorrow's video is finishing up the Rebel. We do the engine runs on that thing, the CG, all the final installation. And I think, yeah, tomorrow's video is actually, that aircraft is so amusing to me. When you see it in tomorrow's video, it's empty. So you take the hatches off and you see nothing on the inside except the UAT and your fuel fittings. All the electronics are hidden. It's pretty cool. So enjoy that one, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you probably in 2 weeks at the next After Dark. See you later.